Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will learn about the famous playwright Tom Stoppard. Tom Stoppard, born in 1937. His given birth name was Thomas Trousler. He was born in 1937 in Czechoslovakia, now called the Czech Republic. He was born in a Jewish family, so he is a Jewish writer. So he is a Czech-born British playwright and a screenwriter. His parents, Martha and Eugene Straussler, who was a physician employed by the Bata Shoe Company. They fled with his family from Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia in 1939. The family moved to Singapore, but during the Japanese invasion, Tom, his mother, and a brother fled to India in Darjeeling, while his father remained behind and died during World War II. His mother later married British Army Major Kenneth Stoppard, whose surname Tom adopted. Moved to England in 1946, which he later described as a transformation from being a little Czech boy to being a little English boy. He attended Dolphin School in Nottinghamshire, later went to Pocklington School in Yorkshire. He did not attend a university, started working as a journalist at the age of 17. He worked as a journalist in Bristol for the Western Daily Press and then the Bristol Evening World. He began writing plays in the early 1960s, including radio plays for the BBC. His early work showed influence from the theatre of the absurd, especially Samuel Beckett and Pirandello. Now let's analyze major works, plays. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, 1966. Is his breakthrough absurdist retelling of Hamlet from the perspective of two minor characters. Next work, Jumpers, 1972, a philosophical farce exploring moral relativism and metaphysics. Next work, Travesties, 1974, a playful intellectual comedy featuring characters like Lenin, Joyce, and Zara. The next work, Every Good Boy Deserves Favors, 1977, collaboration with the composer Andrei Previn. It critiques Soviet psychiatric abuse. The next work, The Real Thing, 1982, explores love, fidelity, and authenticity. The next work, Arcadia, 1993, masterfully weaves together science, history, and emotion across two timelines. The next work, The Cost of Utopia, 2002, a trilogy work about 19th century Russian intellectuals. The next work, Rock and Roll, 2006, and this work reflects on Czech history and dissident movements. Now let's analyze the screenplays written by Tom Stoppard. First one, Brazil, 1985, is a co-written with Jerry Gilliam. The next work, Empire of the Sun, 1987, is an adaptation of J.G. Ballard's novel. The next work, Shakespeare in Love, 1998, which won Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. That award he shared with Mark Norman. The next work, Anna Karenina, 2012, adaptation of Leo Tolstoy's novel. Now let's analyze the key themes in Tom Stoppard's work. First of all, philosophy and logic. Many plays deal with abstract philosophical dilemmas. Meta-theatre, a self-referential play within a play structures. Historical reimaginings, is recontextualizes real events or people, for example, travesties, the cost of utopia, etc. Language play, rich wordplay, puns, and a linguistic virtuosity. Political and moral questions, particularly in later works, Czech history, totalitarianism, personal freedom. Now let's have a look at his personal life, his marriage. Married to Josie Ingle, the nurse, in 1965, and he divorced in 1972. Then married Miriam Stoppard, doctor and writer, and he divorced in 1992. And his children, 4 sons, including Ed Stoppard, who is an actor. Then his long-term partner, Sabrina Guinness, whom he married in 2014. Now the honors and awards Tom Stoppard received. He was knighted in 1997 for services to drama. He was awarded the Order of Merit in 2000. He won 4 Tony Awards for Best Play for the plays Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Travesties, The Real Thing, The Cost of Utopia. Then he won Academy Award, Golden Globe, BAFTA, and numerous honorary doctorates. Now let's analyze Tom Stoppard's legacy and influence. Stoppard is one of the most intellectually rigorous playwrights of the 20th century. Stoppard is known for bridging popular appeal and academic depth in drama. He is a major figure in British postmodern theatre. He elevated the status of the playwright as public intellectual. He inspired playwrights like David Hare, Michael Frayn, and Patrick Marper. Now let's have a look at his political and social engagement. He was initially criticized for political apathy, but he became increasingly vocal. He supported Czech dissident Václav Havel and campaigned for human rights, especially in Eastern Europe. He wrote essays and gave speeches defending freedom of expression and criticizing totalitarian regimes. Now just have a look at the other facts related to Tom Stoppard's life. His real Czech name, that is Thomas Trousler, was unknown to many people for decades. He did not discover his full Jewish heritage or that many relatives died in the Holocaust until 1990s after visiting Czechoslovakia. He never went to university but became one of the most erudite dramatists. Despite being known as a great wit, he has expressed a deep emotional vulnerability in interviews, particularly regarding identity and loss. He was influenced by Pink Floyd's work, The Wall, and worked briefly on a script for it. He was not fluent in the language Czech, despite being born there. He was once described as the most elegant and elusive dramatist of our time. Next we can analyze his present importance as of 2015. Stoppard remains an enduring figure in a global theatre and screenwriting. His work, Lappelstedt, In 2020 is his latest major play, acclaimed as a powerful meditation on Jewish identity, memory, and a diaspora, possibly his most personal work. He continues to be studied in literature, drama, and philosophy curricula across the world. He is considered a bridge between modernist and postmodernist theatre. Now let's be familiar with the most important blocks of Tom Stoppard and the themes. First one, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, 1966. This absurdist tragicomedy reimagines Hamlet from the point of view of two minor characters, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who are caught in a web of fate they barely understand. The play explores existential themes such as free will, identity, and the randomness of life. With a sharp wordplay and meta-theatrical techniques, Stoppard questions the meaning of performance and reality. The next work, The Real Thing, 1982, is a deeply personal and witty play about Henry, a playwright struggling with the questions of love, fidelity, and artistic authenticity. Stoppard explores the nature of emotional truth in both art and life, blending theatre and reality in layers. The play is both intellectually sharp and emotionally resonant, marking a shift toward more heartfelt themes in his work. The next work, Arcadia, 1993, set in an English country house across two time periods, that is 1809 and the present. The play interweaves mathematics, chaos theory, romanticism, and human emotion. Characters include the person Thomasina Cavalry, a teenage genius, and a modern scholar trying to reconstruct the past. Arcadia is a meditation on time, knowledge, and the tragic beauty of impermanence. The next work is Travesties, 1974. The play is narrated by the person Henry Carr, an elderly English council officer in Zurich during World War I, who recalls his interactions with James Joyce, Tristan Tzara, and Lenin. Through unreliable memory, Stoppard mixes historical fact, literary parody, and a surreal humor. The themes revolve around art, revolution, and the role of the artist in society. The next work, The Cost of Utopia, 2002, a trilogy work that includes three books like Voyage, Shipwreck, and Salvage. It chronicles the lives of 19th century Russian intellectuals like Alexander Herzen, Bakunin, and Turgenev. The plays explore political idealism, personal disillusionment, and the cost of utopian dreams. It is one of Stoppard's most ambitious works, blending history, philosophy, and emotional depth. The next work is Lappelstedt, 2020. This semi-autobiographical drama follows a Viennese Jewish family from 1899 through the Holocaust and into the post-war years. It tackles themes of assimilation, identity, memory, and the intergenerational trauma of genocide. Rich in historical detail and emotional power, it is perhaps Stoppard's most personal and poignant play. The next work, Jumpers, 1972, is a philosophical farce featuring George Moore, a moral philosopher, and his wife Dottie, a former actress caught in a breakdown. The play critiques relativism and a moral ambiguity while mixing slapstick comedy with a deep metaphysical debate. Stoppard satirizes academic posturing and the instability of truth in a modern world. The next work, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor, 1977, co-written with the composer Andrei Provin, This play is performed with a full orchestra and it follows two men in a Soviet mental hospital, one genuinely insane, the other falsely imprisoned for political reasons. It critiques the suppression of dissent and the use of psychiatry as a political tool. The blending of music and drama underscores the theme of personal freedom versus totalitarian control. The next work is Rock and Roll 2006. It is set in both Cambridge and Prague. The play spans from 1968 to 1990, reflecting on a fall of communism through the eyes of Jan, a Czech rock music enthusiast. It contrasts political idealism with a cultural resistance, especially through rock music and the band that is called the Plastic People of the Universe. The play explores freedoms, rebellion, and the generational change. The next work is The Invention of Love, 1997. A cerebral and a lyrical play centered on a poet named A. Housman, reflecting on his unrequited love for a fellow student and his academic life. As Housman confronts his past, the play contrasts the repression of Victorian England with the dreams of youth. It examines the themes of memory, love, classicism, and immortality. Now the next work, Hapgood, 1988, a spy thriller that blends Cold War espionage with quantum physics, featuring British intelligence agent named Hopgood as she tries to uncover a mole in her network. The dualities of identity, uncertainty, and perception are key themes. With the layered characters and mirrored realities, the play challenges conventional storytelling. The next work, Night and Day, 1978, set in a financial African country, the play critiques Western journalism, colonialism, and the manipulation of truth. It follows journalist named Richard Wagner and his interactions with a cynical photojournalist and a romantic editor. Stoppard uses satire to explore media ethics, freedom of speech, and post-colonial power dynamics. The next work is Indian Ink, 1995. Is based on a radio play. This drama follows English poet Flora Cruz's visit to India in the 1930s, interspersed with the scenes of modern scholars investigating her life. The play explores cultural misunderstanding, colonialism, art, and the intimacy across time and geography. It represents India with a warmth and a depth, rare and a Western drama. The next work is Doc's Hamlet, Cahoot's Macbeth, 1979. Two linked one-act plays using language games and theatrical in-jokes to question communication and authority. Doc's Hamlet shows students speaking a made-up language, while Cahoot's Macbeth is a subversion performance under totalitarian regimes. Together, they explore the politics of language, censorship, and rebellion. The next work is Rough Cruising, 1984. It's an adaptation of Ferenc Molnar's Play at the Castle. This partial comedy is set on a transatlantic liner with the playwrights trying to finish a script before arriving in New York. It features themes like mistaken identities, romantic confusion, and a theatrical improvisation. Though lighter in tone, it is still plays with performance and illusion.